Success is a strange thing, and it often seems to come to those who are extremely lucky. But as the 10x rule, today's book by Grant Cardone will put it, that is not at all the case. Hey guys, I'm Showman. I want to challenge the way you think, and today I want to talk about the second thing that I think every successful people does, and that is summarized greatly in the book, The 10x Rule, again by Grant Cardone. Now, before we begin, this book's title basically says it all. It's The 10x Rule. Basically, very simply, you just 10x everything. Now, this seems simple, but it actually is very nuanced and quite varied in the way Grant talks about it and in the way I'm going to be talking about it. So, without any further ado, here are my top takeaways from this book. Just a real quick interruption, guys, to tell you to subscribe to this channel because there will be a lot more of these videos for you coming in the near future. And I don't say this enough because I'm afraid to. And as you'll know soon enough, that might not be the best thing. Anyways, back to the video. The very first one is 10xing your goals. Now, I'm actually going to disagree with Grant on this one. I don't think 10xing your goals is enough. People aim so low that just 10xing your goals, and I learned this from my case when I read this book, and I went, I should 10x my goals, and my goals were still nothing. So guys, 100xing your goals is the bare minimum for you to actually get started. But why should you? My goals are perfectly fine. They're perfectly achievable. Well, that is the exact reason why you should be 10, if not 100xing your goals. Because let's think about this. If you shoot for your goal that you have right now and you miss, well, then you're going to get something way below what you actually wanted to accomplish. Whereas if you 10x or 100x your goal right now, you aim for it, but then you fall just a little short, well, you're still getting way above what you originally wanted, meaning you're gonna get that anyways, but this way you're way more guaranteed to actually get it. So this means 10xing your financial goals, 10xing your relationship goals, 10xing your personal goals, whatever it is you want to aim for 10 to 100 times more than what you think you want. And this goes hand in hand with my second big key takeaway, which is any task that you're about to do, you need to 10x both the time it will take and the effort that it's required to do. Because let's think about this one. Have you ever actually finished a task in the exact amount of time and the exact amount of effort that you think it was going to take? No, very likely you've never actually done that. I know I haven't. Anytime I study for a test, I think I need to study for an hour, but it always ends up I need to study for at least 10 hours to get the same amount. This is because our brains are just the worst at actually estimating the time and the effort that it takes, and unfortunately it always undershoots the amount of time and the effort. Therefore, 10xing both the time and the effort is extremely, extremely useful because that way you can actually accurately assess your goals and what you actually need to do them. And so once you've 10x your goals and you've 10x'd the amount of effort and the time that's needed to actually achieve them, and therefore you're about to do 10 times the effort, which is, by the way, a key requirement there, now you are actually able to be essentially lucky. And that is my third takeaway from this book, and that is the element of luck. So let me give you a quick story. Let's just say you're in a casino at a roulette table, and there are two other guys playing with you. One of the guys placed 2 bets, and when the guy spun the roulette wheel, it actually came up his number, and so you would conclude in your head that that guy was indeed lucky. Now, the other guy placed 100 bets on the table, and it obviously came up as one of his numbers. Would you say that that guy got lucky? Well, that guy won the same amount as the other guy. However, you wouldn't say he's lucky because he just covered the entire board. Obviously, he was going to win. So what can we conclude from the story about luck? That is that luck is a factor, but luck can be made. So let's just say you're a salesman and you go knocking on 3 doors. Now, out of those 3, are you likely to get one? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on how good you are and depends on how good the client is. But let's say you knock on 100 doors. Now, are you likely to get at least one of those as a client? Very, very likely. And that is why you need to 10x your goals and you need to 10x your effort, because that way you can actually use luck to your favor. Because luck is ultimately just a force that we can harness. It's probability. It's 1 in 3. And so if you only do 3 sales calls, well, then you're going to get 1 out of the 3. If you do 30 sales calls, well, then you're suddenly going to get 10 out of the 30. You're now going to get 10 clients instead of 1. And so now you too can actually be lucky, and more importantly, get this whole notion of luck out of your head, because luck ultimately just comes down to the person who tries the hardest. The next key takeaway is fear. Now, fear is something that I've been dabbling with for a while now, as in I use fear as a barometer for where I should be going. So what does he actually talk about? Well, one of the big things is exactly that. Go towards what you fear. Because realistically, what you fear will give you the biggest possible reward. So let's just take a look at my life. I am actually a Skillshare instructor. I was terrified of putting myself out there on Skillshare, but thankfully, I actually used my fear as a barometer to show me that I'm afraid to put myself out there on Skillshare, and because of that, I actually did it, and now I'm making a fair bit of money every month very passively off of that. And the same can be applied to your life. What are you most afraid of? What is the thing in your life that you want to do the least? That is probably where you should be heading towards, because the thing that you're afraid of is, generally speaking, the thing that will make you successful. The other thing he says about fear is the longer you wait, the more of a hold fear has on you and the harder it is to actually get going. Therefore, you need to do whatever it is you want to do right away. And this can be really well exemplified to the gentlemen that are watching this who have ever wanted to ask a girl out. Now, when you see the girl and you wanted to ask her out, it was significantly easier than 10 minutes later when you've been staring at her and you're like, I should probably go talk to her, but it's gonna be awkward because your brain comes up with all of these excuses to not go talk to her. Whereas right when you saw her, if you just went ahead and just bit the bullet and said hi, then likely you would have gotten a much better result, and ultimately you would have grown a lot more as a person than if you waited and now she's gone. And so you need to use fear as an ally rather than as an excuse. You need to use fear to know exactly where you're going, and you need to do it right away. Otherwise, fear has a great hold on you. And that is all I have for you guys today. Go actually check out the book, guys. It's not a very long read, but it's a very enjoyable one. And I hope to see you tomorrow.